Good evening, folks. Bob Reese with the Guides Forecast, giving you a fishing report for Wednesday, August 25th for the Lower Columbia River and Ocean out of Astoria. Got the news delivered to us today. Joint state meeting. Chinook will close after tomorrow, so starting at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, the lower river from Tongue Point to Buoy 10 will be closed for the retention of Chinook. So that makes Thursday the last day for retention. Coho will remain open, just a 2-fish bag limit, hatchery fish only, of course. But you'll still be able to retain Chinook salmon above Tongue Point. So that fishery will stay open. We'll go over some more details of when to best target that fishery in the forecast section. But now would be a good time to check out the webinar that Buzz Ramsey and myself did for targeting Buoy 10 coho, because there's a lot of them in the river, and action's going to only get better for those coho in the coming weeks. So a lot of fish to come, a lot of fish already in the river. So as far as the report goes today, there was a good bite from the Desdemona light marker down to Buoy 20, Buoy 21 on the entire Desdemona sands there from the get-go. We've talked about this in the webinar before as well. Those fish have a natural barrier. Basically, Desdemona sands blocks the outgoing tide and therefore makes that Desdemona light marker area a pretty strong candidate for catching coho and a few Chinook, because they can get out of the fast, swift current there in both the channels on the Washington and the Oregon side, shipping channel on the Oregon side, blind channel on the Washington side, and not have to fight that current so hard to get upstream. So a lot of people fish there. It's been a busy place, been productive, a lot of biters, a lot of coho, mostly coho. There were Chinook this morning in the deep water on the Washington side. I did a late start, so I didn't get to take advantage of them all that well, but we did hook into a couple real nice Chinook salmon. The spin fish was working particularly well before we broke it off after hooking a big Chinook and subsequently hooking what I think was probably a submerged crab pot over by marker 5 on the Washington side in front of Chinook. That caught Rich Slusher, who has been fishing with me for 28 years. He did catch a nice, probably 22-pound bright, and then lost another big fish in that crab pot down there by 5. So then we tried to find some more Chinook on that last trickle of outgoing tide, hugging the Washington shoreline, but did not find a lot of activity there. The low slack bite from Buoy 11 to Buoy 10 was not very pronounced today. A few boats got in it, but for the most part, you know, what we had seen, some good Chinook opportunities in previous days did not really materialize there, and it took a long while. I don't know if the coho ever did show up at Buoy 10. There was not a spectacular bite whatsoever for Chinook down there at Buoy 10, so that was disappointing. But there was a few fish early on the Hammond Hover, but we found fish in 2 different places late in the tide today on the sand flats above the bridge. Again, if you check in that webinar that Buzz Ramsey and myself did earlier this year, you can get that on our website, theguidesforecast.com. It talks about how to fish those flats above the bridge and even below the bridge. We scored some good action on coho in those areas, as well as crossing over to the Oregon side. There was a really good bite at high tide below the bridge, Oregon side, in front of the West End Mooring Basin. Lots of coho, mostly coho, a few small Chinook, I suppose a few larger Chinook, but we didn't catch any. And there's sea lions and seals working that area pretty heavy, so you got to be prepared to do battle with those pinnipeds if you're going to fish that area at high slack. So that's about a wrap for the report, but we'll put more details in the forecast section, and hopefully you can make the most of the last day of Chinook season down here at Buoy 10. Good luck.